I hear women say, I feel exhausted all the time because of everything I do. And granted, they do a lot, but that's not what is causing your exhaustion. It's that your body is not able to manage energy production and stress. And this comes down to because the body is stuck in danger mode. So I have women who come to me because they're exhausted, right? And they look at everything they do and they look at their age, they look at their responsibilities and the pressure and all of that stuff on their shoulders and they go, well, of course I'm going to feel exhausted with everything going on. And granted, they do a lot, okay? So I'm not going to disregard that. Women, I think, do more today than ever before, right? But we have to understand how energy is created in the body because actually the more energy we use and burn off, the more you generate, okay? So in our body, we have cells called the mitochondria, and they sit within the cells, and we have quadrillions of them, and they are energy-producing cells. They are a superpower in our body. So the more energy we burn off, the more mitochondria we produce, right? So we're just going to keep creating more and more energy, which is why the more we do, sometimes we have a busy day, we just get so much done. And there are other days we don't get much done, but we're exhausted, right? Now, this won't happen in mitochondrial dysfunction. And how do you know if you have something like that going on? And the very classic symptom is that you feel tired all the time. So I'm not talking about you feel tired for a couple of days, you have a good night's sleep, you have a weekend and you feel completely refreshed and recharged. I'm not talking about that kind of fatigue. I'm talking about fatigue that is not relieved by sleep and it persists and persists, right? You have a weekend off, you come Monday, you're still tired, or you've had a couple of good nights sleep, you're still tired, or you've been tired for 3 months or more. That's the kind of fatigue I'm talking about. That's the kind of fatigue due to mitochondrial dysfunction. So back in about 2013, Robert Naviaux discovered something really groundbreaking, which I don't believe is talked about enough. It's the cell danger response. And it's a survival mechanism that our body goes into, our cells. So when they detect threats, they basically go into hibernation mode. So our mitochondria, these are our mitochondria, go into hibernation mode. So these energy-producing cells, they give us the energy to do everything that we need to do. They give us the energy to manage our stresses, right? They go into hibernation mode. And that happens due to prolonged stress, either mental and emotional stress, or pathogenic like infections causing inflammation, toxins, and electromagnetic stress, like our devices, okay? And being around Wi-Fi and the lighting and all of that. So they send a message to our mitochondria, which puts them into the cell danger response. And they go into hibernation, energy production stops, inflammation ramps up, cellular communication shuts down, and our recovery or our healing grinds to a halt, okay? And so it's not a problem. This is a natural protective mechanism that our body goes through. It's a part of our survival response. There was a Dr. Doug Wallace who suggested that 90 to 95% of all chronic disease is caused by mitochondrial dysfunction. And I remember reading that Robert Naviaux said, our medical textbooks, they're the 1.0 version. We need to step into the 2.0 because the medical world is not helping chronic disease, right? And it's because they don't have an understanding of this cell danger response and they don't know how to address it, right? There's nothing in their toolkit to address this process. One of the other things that I hear all the time is, okay, these symptoms like fatigue and brain fog and, digestive issues, they show up in a lot of other conditions, right? So why are these symptoms so similar across other conditions? So women will say to me, when I do a post on social media, they'll say, but that's chronic fatigue or that's menopause or that's thyroid issues. And the reason why so many different conditions have the same symptoms is because there's really one way for your body to say something is off. Right? And it's through this cell danger response. So the fatigue, the brain fog, the bloating, the pain, they're not separate problems. They are signs that your body is stuck in protection mode. So it's different triggers, but the same pathway. And until you reset the systems underneath, those systems won't go away, right? The cell danger response, you won't get out of it, okay, into the healing response. So when there's safety in the body knows it's safe to go into healing response and use those resources to stimulate healing. So it's a protective state and it's your body's intelligence at work. It's not a malfunction, right? Really, your body is on your side. It's just trying to help you to survive. So what it ends up doing is it slows things down. It slows your energy down to conserve your energy. It causes fatigue to force you to rest, causes digestive issues because the system is not ready to digest food. You can get anxiety and pain to signal that something's not right. So your body is choosing survival over performance. So the main thing that we need to do is show its safety again. The way that we do that, or the way that I do that through all of my programs, this is really what I'm addressing at the heart of the program. So the first thing that we look at is switching off that stress response. Because what Robert Naviaux found was, yes, there are multiple ways like chemical and toxicity and microbes that we can get this inflammation, which puts our cells into cell danger response. But the linchpin was psychological stress, so mental and emotional stress. Now that activates the stress response, activates cortisol, adrenaline, all of these hormones that signal to the mitochondria, we're in danger, especially if it's for a long time, so anything over 3 months. And what we try to do in the program, or what we do successfully, is reduce the stress response by, I guess, in a way, almost biohacking the nervous system through foods, right? So we use carbohydrates that switches off the stress response, habits like sleeping. We get people to do exercises like the Alpha 10, which is really allowing the mind to uncoil and increasing mental bandwidth and reducing mental noise. Because a lot of the time, it's our mental stress that's tripping up our fight or flight response, which is creating all of this inflammation. Then we look at removing inflammatory foods and balancing the blood glucose levels. Now, I've talked about this in other podcasts, but inflammatory foods, we're looking at, processed foods, sugary foods, alcohol, caffeine, GMO foods, gluten, right? All of these create inflammation in the digestive system and throughout the rest of the body. The next part that we look at is, restoring key systems like gut and liver, right? Really key systems. Gut, because we have our immune system around our gut. Gut is important to absorb the nutrition that we actually need to do the repair work. Again, sending that nutrition to the mitochondria says, okay, I'm feeling safe. Let's start the healing response. And then the liver to remove the toxicity that's built up, but also supporting the adrenals, part of that stress response system. And the final thing that I look at is reestablishing coherence with natural rhythms. Sunlight, your circadian rhythm, right? Are you going to bed at the right time, same time? Are you waking up with the sunrise? Are you getting some sun exposure? And are you moving your body? So there are many ways that you can switch off the cell danger response. And in this podcast, I really wanted to show you that this is what's underlining most of our symptoms, right? Robert Naviaux said, the reason why we feel tired and sick is because of the cell danger response. So if we can lift that response and help our body to feel safe, it can do what it needs to do to rapidly heal our body, restore our energy, elevate our mood, give us mental bandwidth, and help you to perform at your best and do everything that you want to do and be happy doing it, right? So I hope this was helpful, and I'd love to hear your comments below.